NewsX.
Shaina NC of the Bharatiya Janata Party, Priyanka Chaturvedi of the Congress and Vimlendu Jha, an environmentalist, are with us this evening. I'm quite sure, Shaina NC, that you watched this report as it was playing out, and you might have seen that one of your MPs, in fact, was there wearing this yellow mask on his face. And you saw the contradiction in terms. He's there in a mask, and the young kids, not more than 3 or 4 we interviewed, are there without one. Now they have to live day in, day out, 24 hours, 48 hours, 36 hours, 72 hours, 96 hours, what have you, all their lives in that dump. They have no masks. And what does he say? He says, well, you see, the BMC should plan an operation called the Operation Deonar. Who heads the BMC? It's the BJP and the Shiv Sena. The Shiv Sena comes out and said, oh gosh, this is a big conspiracy. People are lighting fires there. But the problem is there is garbage, toxic garbage that can go up in flames. It should not be there. Who are you trying to kid? Shaina NC.
Rahul, first and foremost, this is not an overnight solution and this is not an overnight problem. The fact that in Deonar you have close to a 9-story high garbage pile-up which has not been dispensed, and for reasons best known to all of us, there has been close to 9,500 metric tons, sometimes even 10,000 metric tons of waste which is produced every day. We all know that a lot of that waste is not even segregated, and it is a Herculean task to do away with it. The Honorable Chief Minister has announced these 2 dumping spots at Taloja and Mahol to ensure that every piece of waste that is generated from this mega city called the island city of Mumbai, it turns into a project where the waste is converted to energy, which is being done in collusion with IITians, technocrats, bureaucrats, and the best technology world over. Having said that, I think that in the past 15 years, the previous government had been appraised multiple times, and the Urban Development Department and the then Chief Minister chose not to allocate any land, chose not to take any concrete measures. Yes, I do concede that you cannot only hold the administration or the BMC responsible. Every single citizen needs to realize that the air we breathe, whether the Chief Minister is breathing it or a normal citizen, it is the air that the Mumbaikar is breathing, and that is what is the area of contention where I think that environmentalists, activists have been constantly dialoguing with the Chief Minister, with the Municipal Commissioner,
but it lacks a bit of substance.
All kinds of measures, and
I
coming to that
the
wall,
sentiment, but it lacks substance.
Just one area. One
Shaina
second,
NC,
that
look,
wall which you
we know it's not a new problem. 18 years ago, no, 1 second.
32 CCTV
Please,
cameras,
18 years
1,500 guards.
Shaina NC,
and
18 years ago, this problem was first flagged up. 18 years ago, the same, and you can look at the letters, and I have them with me. All the letters, they read like facsimiles of each other. They're exactly the same letters. You can see that on your screens. A letter saying exactly the first 4 points. Implementation of waste to energy project. Look at promise 2. Repairing the existing broken boundary wall. Forget the boundary wall. This is beginning to sound like a broken record. And that's the problem. It's not a new problem. It's an 18-year-old problem, but no one has solved it 15 years. You have run the BMC and the Shiv Sena, and I'm talking about you have run the BMC, the Shiv Sena and the BJP, and this is where we are at. With an MP gratuitously arriving there today when a child is dead, so that there is no backlash, quickly lands up there with a mask on his face, oblivious to the fact that those around him don't have masks. Look at how he's stuck out there like a sore thumb. I just want to bring in the Congress here. Are we going to continually have this game of blame, Priyanka Chaturvedi?
No, Rahul, firstly, I would want to speak more as a Mumbaikar who is suffering the neglect by this government and the municipal corporation for past 20 years. You can keep pinning the blame on X or Y or Z. The problem is very clear that you have a government right now which could have addressed issues which China has been talking about for years and years. This problem has been continuing. She should ask her own corporators, why is this continuing? There's a corrupt nexus that exists between the traders there as well as the corporators of BMC, which they haven't been able to manage. Now, even for the past 20 years, 18 years is what you said, Rahul, a basic wall cannot come up which does not allow miscreants to enter the place. You spoke about getting a police station there, but you do not have any cops manning the entire area. Then you speak about providing lights there. You do not have lights, adequate lights, to ensure that nobody comes in at the dead of the night and carries out this mischief. Then you speak about fire engines. You do not even have that in place. Now let's again argue about the point of it being a place of neglect for past many years. There were some immediate measures that the Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis had promised after the January fire. Yet we see nothing happening. No 24/7 surveillance, no CCTV cameras, no police at the spot, nothing, absolutely nothing. Every time a fire happens, they come up with many promises, yet they do nothing. And also let me tell you about this Taloja spot that China NC is talking about. They still do not have the land, adequate land to provide for before they start dumping, making that Taloja a dumping ground. So this is the truth. Everything is on paper. They come and talk every time something like this happens, but yet you see nothing happening on ground. Extremely unfortunate.
China NC wants to come in, and then I want to bring in Vimlendu Jha. Vimlendu Jha. I want to bring in Vimlendu Jha right after that. Yes, China NC. Go ahead.
It's very convenient how the Congress just puts their hands up and says that, your Chief Minister should react. 15 years you had a government where the Urban Development Department under the Chief Minister Prithviraj Chauhan didn't even allocate a land despite several letters by the BMC, etc. But I don't want to get into a blame game, because this is the suffering of every Mumbaikar, and whether it is a miscreant, whether it's a contractor, whether it's somebody who's broken some section of the wall and entered, all of which is being investigated. FIRs have been charged. There are CCTV cameras, there are security guards. I'm not for 1 minute saying that we are not responsible. We are responsible because this situation has been out of control year after year. We have seen that there has been sabotage plans, etc. But what is the solution? Isn't the solution you and me, Rahul? Isn't the solution that every citizen needs to segregate that garbage and to ensure that we do our bit as well? Or are we only going to put our hands up and suggest that the administration has some magic wand to come up with a solution, and an overnight one at that?
So this is the third excuse.
If the Chief Minister
third
has
excuse. First excuse was that we must blame the UPA.
No, one project of converting
the third
waste
excuse.
to energy,
Is
that not something that needs to be uploaded?
Governments, but they refuse to take charge, and they
I am
refuse to
not
take accountability
blaming.
for their
I am
own
talking about a
China
collective
NC, you were
responsibility,
elected.
and if you choose
Pinning the
not
blame
to
on
do
someone.
that, it's
No,
your
What I'm trying to
prerogative.
ask China today is, what stops
One
this
second.
government, what stops the Maharashtra government for creating an awareness drive and for reiterating the importance of segregating garbage? What stops this government from setting accountability with all these
It's a fair point. I want to bring in Mr. Jha.
From this criminal nexus that you keep talking about.
Okay, let's bring in Mr. Jha. Mr. Jha, what is stopping them?
What is stopping
Is it the mafia? Is it the mafia that stops them? Is it the fact that everyone is making a fat sum of money?
It's actually a classic case of misgovernance that we are actually talking about. So every year when we actually, and by the way, we are actually talking about one of the richest municipalities that we have in the country. Every year when it actually rains and the entire city of Bombay, Mumbai, gets flooded, we think, oh well, and then it disappears and people think everything is all right. This monument that we have, this land hill that we actually have, is actually a commentary on how BMC has actually been conducting itself for last 20 years. The PIL that was actually filed in 98 clearly said, and the promises that were actually made by BMC clearly said that yes, there needs to be a boundary wall, there needs to be these CCTV cameras. Nothing has actually happened. And at the end of the day, when politicians who actually take our money, or the representatives of the government who take taxpayers' money, then they tell us that segregate your garbage.
32
Okay,
cameras.
there are cameras. There, as in,
362
you know,
acres has
there were
32
reports that
cameras,
said
and we should be grateful
in
to the
total, and there
government.
were supposed to be, I don't know how many.
No, it's true.
Yeah.
They
See, the
might
thing
be,
is that
there
now
might be
I'm
32
not here to
cameras.
count number of cameras. The fact
they're
is that
so
the place
beautifully
has been
positioned.
burning last 2 months.
No, 1 second. That they're so
Place has been
beautifully
burning for
positioned,
last
Mr.
2
Jha,
months, and the
that they can't
Environment
capture anything or
Minister
anyone.
of-
Can't capture anything or anyone. That's how beautifully positioned they are. In
And
fact,
the
our
Environment
correspondent hit
Minister,
the ground,
rather
I'll
than
tell
actually
you.
finding the fault in governance,
I can't trust anything, because when our correspondent has gone there and walked the length and breadth of that damn dump yard, I'm sorry to be so crass tonight, but I can tell you it's very, very infuriating. A boundary wall that was to come up, all this while, zero work.